Hello, and may be peace with you all. Our primary objective in making this presentation is to make recommendation based on the security audit and assessment finding. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Zainira binti Zanurin and my matric number is 01DDT19F2072. And these are my friend Nur Shafina binti Adam Ali and the matric number is 01DDT19F2076. And this is Atira Izati binti Rosli and the matric number is 01DDT19F2074. The recommendation: Finding 1. Aconatic. In this method, we can use multi-factor authentication. MFA it helps to prevent attacks such as credential stuffing, brute force, or even if an attacker has full account credentials. Multi-factor authentication (MFA) is an authentication method that uses two or more distinct mechanisms to validate a user identity rather than relying on just a simple username and password combination. MFA had prevent unauthorized access to application and sensitive data, helping organizations defend against identity theft, cyber attacks, and data breach. Multi-factor authentication at least one more form such as a text message with a one-time number, a physical token, or some from a biometric. The next recommendation is to limit login attempt. Limit login attempt to protect the website from attacks that try to gain access or login to a website with username and password. In this case, what we need to do is limit the login attempt. Limiting the failed login attempt will log a user or attacker out if they enter the wrong password or username more than the specific time. They will be logged out for a specific time. This will also let us see how many people are trying to hack and step into the website. If there is, we can see the same IP trying to access to the website, then we can ban that IP address and block an internet address and or username from making future attempts. After a specific limit on retry has been reached, making a brute force attack difficult or impossible. This will prevent the attacker or unauthorized access to the website. This is very effective way to prevent unwanted things from happening, and we are very recommendation this. And next, my friend Nur Shafina will continue this presentation.
Thank you, Zaira. My name is Nur Shafina Beti Adamali, and my matric number is 01DDT19F2076. So the next recommendation for finding one is to set a pro-picket session timeout. We can do session timeout in this case. It is to minimize the time an attacker can launch attacks over active session and hijack them. It is a mandatory to set timeout for every session, establishing the amount of time a session will remain active. Insufficient session expiration by the web application increase the exposure of other session-based attacks. As for the attacker to be able to reuse a valid session ID and hijack the associated session, it must still be active. The shorter the session interval is, the lesser the time an attacker has to use the valid session ID. The timeout value must be set accordingly with the purpose and nature of the web application and the balance, security, and usability. This helps users whose accounts are attacked unknowingly or initially. When we set a condition to set session timeout, this will make the attacker more worried. This is because when they are enter into the website account using the user ID, after the session timeout, they will be kicked by the system to exit. It is important of setting time duration for each session to prevent unwanted things from happening. The advantage that the attacker has is having a valid user ID. so they can log into the account. So creating a session timeout is a very helpful and useful for each user and can protect their website or account from being misused by an attacker. The last but not least for recommendation for 5D1 is automatically log out. The automatically log out is our final suggestion. The automatically log out features is enabled and the website or account become idle. The website is locked after the predetermined period of inactivity has elapsed. The JavaScript code has been used by the web application on all pages to automatically log out session after the idle time given are expired. This safety measure helps to ensure that no one else can operate the computer under the user login name if they leave the account. Automatically logout comes in handy because an application user may forget to log off the system after use. Automatically log out is a security feature that determines the amount of time a screen can stay idle. Maybe after a few minutes, that is from 4 to 5 minutes into the account, it can exit directly from the account to avoid an unauthorized access login into the system. A simple term, it is the amount of time a screen stays active without user action. By using this, it can ensure the safety and integrity of data user. This automatically logout is very useful because it cannot give way to the attacker to log into the account even if they are expert in the world of hacking. We believe this is the best solution. This is a very important security for every user on the website that might use. Next is for resource use. All these recommendations we are used a part of from this link, all these links. That's all from me. Next, my friend Atira Izati will continue. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Nur Shafina. Hi, I am Atira Izati Binti Rosli. So I will continue this presentation. Okay, so based on all the information that has been evaluated in finding 2, we would like to provide 3 suggestions or recommendations to overcome the problem encountered in the network. So for the first recommendation is require re-authentication for sensitive feature. So we recommended this because sensitive account information must be preserved so that our privacy and data are safe and more secure, just like our user password, email address, and other sensitive activities. Okay, user must always re-authenticate before accessing any piece of sensitive resource in this procedure. For example, user must provide their credential before accessing the online banking area. There are a few or a certain, not all, a certain careless user will leave their computer without logging out. So in this case, it will allow an attacker to carry out sensitive transaction using a CSRF or XSS attack. They will gain the user current credential or get the temporary physical access to steal the user session ID, and they will hijack the user session. So this recommendation absolutely will prevent user from unauthorized access in any sensitive resource session without verifying their identification and session hijacking. Okay, next, we will recommend it to utilizing transmit password only over TLS or other strong transport for the second suggestion. So it will enable client and server program to ensure data transfer between them in encrypt with safe technique and not visible by others party. Okay, the TLS is a cryptographic protocol that ensures the protection of information internet-based from end to end. It will also can normally be used in email, instant messaging, and voice over IP. as well as internet service such as DNS and NTP. TLS simply enables the secure transmission of data over the internet to preventing eavesdropping and content changes. TLS or another secure transport must be used to provide the login landing pages so that TLS will help to prevent an attacker from viewing the unencrypted session ID and compromising the user authorization. For the last recommendation is the single sign-off, or the short form is SSO. Okay, so with SSO, user can safely authenticate with different application and website by using only one set of credentials with this authentication method. Okay, after logging into the SSO system and connecting the service, this approach is necessary to acquire access to a system. 11. The SSO's relationship is established between an application service provider and an identity provider such as OneLogin. For both user and administrator, this method can improve organizing username and password easier. It allows users to access their services much more quickly, and it can also reduce the time of the help desk takes servicing a user who have forgotten their password. The administrator also can get with a set of criteria such as password complexity and multi-factor authentication from a central location MFA, so that if a user exits the company, the administrator can more rapidly release the login access across the board. So this is our resource that we have been used for finding two. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you.